show the villagers of the kingdom how mighty, rich, and powerful he looked. One day, two strange tailors came to the emperor's castle. The first tailor complimented the emperor. "Dear emperor, we hear you are a mighty ruler and have excellent taste." The second tailor then lied to the emperor. "Mighty emperor, we are two tailors who possess great talent and magic. Only the wisest and most excellent rulers, like yourself, deserve to wear clothes made from a rare magic cloth." The emperor was interested. "What makes your cloth so rare and magical?" he said. The first tailor smiled and said, "Our cloth is so light, it feels like you're wearing nothing at all." The second tailor said, "It is so beautiful that only those who are wise can see its beauty. Fools cannot see the magical cloth. It is invisible to them." The emperor was delighted, and he gave the two tailors a bag full of gold. After 1 week, the two tailors brought back a big box for the emperor. They opened the box, and the emperor looked inside and saw nothing. His servants looked inside the box, and they saw nothing. The emperor didn't want to admit he was a fool, so he said, "These clothes are the best I've ever seen." His servants soon began to agree. "Oh yes, emperor, we've never seen something so beautiful," they said. The emperor took off his clothes until he was in his underwear. The two tailors pretended to dress the emperor. Then they left town with their gold, while the emperor and his servants marched into the village so the emperor could show off his new clothes. The villagers all came out to see the emperor. They had heard about the magical cloth and were curious to see it. The emperor stepped out of his carriage in front of his people, wearing nothing but his underwear. The villagers didn't know what to do, so they cheered and pretended they could see his beautiful outfit too. Suddenly, a little boy cried out, "Why are we cheering? The emperor is not wearing any clothes." The emperor stopped marching, and then the villagers began to laugh, point, and stare at the emperor in his underwear. The emperor became so embarrassed and ran back into his carriage and went home. From that day forward, the emperor stopped caring about having the best clothes. He learned to value honesty, even when telling the truth is hard. The emperor became a more humble and wiser ruler. So, do you think the emperor learned to be more honest to others and himself? Let's listen to a magical story about a princess and her unexpected encounter with the frog prince. One day, a young princess was playing by a pond with her favorite golden ball. As she was playing, the golden ball rolled and sank into the bottom of the pond, and she began to cry. Suddenly, she heard a croaky voice. "Beautiful princess, why are you so sad?" She looked up and saw a big slimy green frog talking to her. "I've dropped my golden ball into the pond, and I've lost it forever," she wailed. The frog said, "I can swim to the bottom of the pond and bring it back to you, but you must make me a promise to take me home with you, take care of me, and love me forever." The princess agreed. "Yes, I promise." So the frog swam to the bottom of the pond and came back up with her golden ball. The princess took the ball from the frog and ran away. "Goodbye, slimy frog," she said without looking back. That night in the castle, a loud banging was heard on the castle door. The king opened the door to find the slimy green frog in front of him. "Croak! I'm here for the princess," the frog said. "She promised to take care of me and love me forever." "Is this true?" the king asked the princess. I did promise I would take care of him and love him. I just didn't think he would hop all the way to the castle from his pond," said the princess. "Princess, we must keep our promises. You must bring this frog into the castle," he said. So the princess kept her word. She put the frog down next to her at the dinner table and gave him his own plate of food. After dinner, the princess and the frog sat by the fire together. She read him a bedtime story until he grew sleepy. She put the sleepy frog on a silk pillow next to handsome young man. I am now the prince I used to be. An evil fairy turned me into a frog and said I could never be a prince again unless I could find a princess to love me as a slimy frog. You have saved my life, and I promise to make you my bride." And he and the princess were married and lived happily ever after. In the beginning of the story, do you think the princess was too selfish for not trying to help the frog? Have you heard the story of King Midas, the king who could turn anything into gold? A long time ago, there lived a king named Midas. King Midas worked very hard to make sure his land sold the best food, the best jewels, and the best clothes so his kingdom could be rich. "The harder I work, the more gold I will get, and I will be happy and rich," he thought. There was only one thing King Midas loved more than gold, and that was his daughter, a little princess named Goldie. Even though he loved Goldie, he always felt too busy to spend time with her. One day, a mysterious and magical stranger came to the castle. "King Midas," he said, "you are famous for being a good king. For this, I would like to give you a reward. I will grant you one wish." King Midas said, "I work so hard to be rich. I wish everything I touch turned into gold." The mysterious and magical stranger waved his wand, and King Midas's fingers suddenly glowed bright. "Your wish is granted." King Midas ran outside the castle and into the royal rose garden. He picked up one of the red roses, and it turned into gold. "It worked! This is great," he said, and he turned all the flowers and trees into a garden of pure gold. Afterwards, King Midas got hungry, and he sat down for a delicious meal. He picked up a fluffy piece of bread and bit into it, causing his teeth to almost crack. "Oh dear, my bread is turned to gold." King Midas gave up trying to eat and decided to take a nap. As soon as he got into his soft, warm bed, it became very cold and hard. "Oh my, a golden bed is not comfortable at all," he cried. Suddenly, Princess Goldie ran into his bedroom crying, "Papa, my favorite red roses have been turned to gold. They don't smell sweet anymore." Before he could think, King Midas reached out for her hand. Instantly, his daughter stopped crying and was turned into a little golden statue. "Oh, what have I done?" King Midas cried out. All of a sudden, the mysterious and magical stranger appeared in front of the king. "King Midas, do you regret your wish?" "Yes," the king said. "Please make everything back to the way it was." The mysterious and magical stranger waved his wand and disappeared again. Suddenly, Princess Goldie was no longer a statue. She hugged her father and asked, "Papa, are you okay?" King Midas smiled and said, "I am happy now. Gold means nothing to me anymore if I can't enjoy life and my family. I already have the most precious thing in the world, and that is a daughter like you." Did you like that story? Do you think King Midas understands why his family is worth more than gold? Listen to this fairy tale about a prince in his search for a true princess in The Princess and the Pea. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there was a handsome young prince who lived in a big, glorious castle with his father and mother, the king and queen. The prince longed to find a true princess to marry, with whom he could share all his riches and the wonderful things his kingdom had to offer, but he could not find one. The kingdom had heard about the prince's search, so all the fair maidens in the land claimed to be a princess. He scoured the kingdom, meeting every one of these so-called princesses. With no luck, he returned home to his castle, for he never found a real princess. One evening, a terrible storm came through the kingdom. Suddenly there was a loud knock at the castle front door. The old king and queen went to see who it was. They opened the door to find a cold, drenched young lady standing in front of them. The rain and wind had made her look weak and tired. The rain ran down from her hair and into her clothes, out again at the heel of her shoes. "I am a princess," she said, "lost in the cold night. Can you spare a room for me to sleep in while the storm passes?" The queen took a look at the girl and thought to herself, "She sure doesn't look like a princess, but I guess we'll soon see about that." The queen went to prepare the spare bedroom, but she did it in a certain way. She took the covers, sheets, and mattress off the bed. She then placed a single pea on the bed frame and then laid 20 mattresses on top of the pea before making the bed with new clean sheets for the princess to sleep on. In the morning, during breakfast, the queen turned to the princess and asked how she had slept. "Oh, not well at all," said the princess. "I am so grateful for your kindness for letting me stay the night, but I could not sleep a wink. I'm not sure what was in the bed, but I was lying on something hard. Now I am hurting all over." My, said the queen. "When you arrived last night, I could not believe you were a real princess, but I was wrong." The queen then turned to the prince and said, "I believe we have found your true princess, for no one, except for a real princess, could be as delicate to feel a single pea right through 20 mattresses and bed sheets. You must wed her immediately." The prince asked the princess for her hand in marriage, and she happily agreed. The prince was overjoyed to find his true princess, and they both lived happily ever after. Do you think the queen was wrong to judge the princess when they first met? Here is a fairy tale about a poor farmer's daughter who meets an ugly troll with an unusual name, Rumpelstiltskin. There was once a poor farmer who had big dreams and an even bigger mouth. He had only one child, a beautiful daughter who he was very proud of. In the town he would brag, "My daughter is so clever, she could turn straw into gold." The king's men heard him speak and invited the farmer's daughter to the castle. The king said, "Tonight I will put you in a room full of straw. If you can turn it into gold by morning, I will give your father a reward. If you fail, I will punish him for lying." That night, the farmer's daughter was locked into a room full of straw. She was clever, but not clever enough to turn straw into gold, so she started to cry. Suddenly, an ugly troll appeared in front of her. "I can turn this straw into gold," said the troll, "but you must promise me anything I want when I'm done." The farmer's daughter was desperate. "Yes, anything! Please, help me!" The next morning, the king opened the door and found the farmer's daughter surrounded by gold. "Your father is indeed right. I will reward him by making you my queen," the king said. A few years passed, and the farmer's daughter was now a queen. By this time, she forgot all about the ugly troll. She was very happy and soon gave birth to a baby prince. One day, the ugly troll came back. "We meet again," the troll said. "You promised I could have anything I wanted. Give me your baby prince." The queen said, "I cannot give you my child. What can I do to keep him?" The troll said, "Ha ha 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 ha. I have a very unusual name. No one else in the world has it. If you can guess my name by tomorrow, I will let you keep the prince. If not, he is mine forever." The queen agreed, and the ugly troll left the castle. The queen quickly dressed herself in a disguise of old rags and followed him into the woods. She hid behind a tree and watched the ugly troll dance around a fire and sing a song. "No one knows my name but me. The queen won't know how to begin. The baby will soon be mine, tee-hee, because she'll never guess my name. Rumpelstiltskin." The next day, the queen knew his name when she saw the ugly troll. "Are you ready to guess my name?" he asked. "I'll give you 3 chances." "Okay," to guess my name, said the troll as he rubbed his hands together. Is your name Rumpelstiltskin? Asked the queen. Ah! Screamed the ugly troll and his face turned red. He then stamped his feet so hard in anger that he disappeared into a hole in the ground. The clever farmer's daughter who became a queen was now happy and never saw the ugly troll again. At the end of this story,